Most men and women live their lives in a perpetual state of sleepwalking, moving from one day to the next, driven by the inertia of circumstance, defined by the limitations of others, their genius locked away, a treasure chest buried beneath the rubble of petty fears. But you are not here for the ordinary path. You are listening to this because a whisper in your soul has become a roar, demanding more than a life of mere existence. You sense, with an unnerving clarity, that there is a power within you, waiting not to be discovered, but to be commanded. This journey we begin now is not about chasing external rewards. It is a ruthless excavation of the self. We begin at the absolute 0 point of all human achievement. The mind. Everything you see, everything you touch, every towering skyscraper, every revolutionary piece of technology, every empire built, was once nothing more than a thought, a single invisible electrical impulse contained within a single human skull. The difference between the architect who designs the masterpiece and the laborer who sweeps the dust is not fate nor luck, but the mastery of that single internal universe. The mind is not a passive sponge, simply absorbing the stimuli of the outside world. It is the absolute, unquestioned sovereign of your reality. And the most dangerous lie ever perpetuated is the belief that your thoughts are uncontrollable, random events. They are not. They are the clay from which your future is sculpted. You must, with surgical precision, dissect and discard the thoughts of limitation that have been programmed into you since childhood. We call this the process of mental alchemy. You are not what your bank account says you are. You are not the product of a painful past. You are not a victim of your current environment. These are all transient shadows. Your truest identity resides in the unwavering image you hold of your future self. And this is where the philosophy of definiteness of purpose finds its steel. Most people drift through life with a vague desire for more money or more happiness. This is not a purpose. It is a wish. A wish is a balloon without a string. A purpose is a blueprint etched onto the very core of your being, so clear, so precise, that every single action you take, every decision you make, becomes a gravitational pull toward its realization. Look at the life of Thomas Edison. He did not vaguely wish for light. He declared, with relentless certainty, that he would find a way to harness and deliver it. His mind was focused like a laser, making the concept of 10,000 failures utterly irrelevant. They were not failures. They were 10,000 steps closer to the answer. His belief was the furnace that consumed the resistance. This is the first law of supreme achievement. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But the believing part is not a casual agreement. It is a profound, non-negotiable, soul-deep conviction that must be activated, not intellectually, but emotionally. You must feel the reality of your coming success now, in this very moment, until the anticipation of it becomes more real than your current circumstances. This is the essence of faith, not a religious dogma, but an operational force, a vibration you emit into the world, which then begins to organize reality, to match the frequency of your dominant thought. You must saturate your subconscious mind with this new vision, repeating the clear, emotional, definitive statement of your purpose, not as a mantra, but as a truth already realized. You are replacing the old weak foundation with a bedrock of definite purpose, and on that foundation, we begin to build, ensuring the narrative remains a single unbroken stream of thought. That emotional saturation, that feeling of the goal already achieved, must then crystallize into an unwavering vision. The ordinary person sees their goal through the lens of their current resources and their past mistakes. They ask, how can I, a person with this background and these limitations, possibly accomplish that? They allow the limitations of the present to veto the infinite possibilities of the future. The master, however, sees his purpose not through the lens of what he has, but through the lens of what must be. Your vision must be a sacred covenant with your future. You must define it so sharply that it becomes a mental equivalent of what you desire. This is not simple daydreaming. This is the disciplined use of your creative imagination. Think of Walt Disney. Before the first brick was laid, before the first pencil touched the animation paper for an empire, he had already built the entirety of his vision within his own mind. He knew the emotional experience, the moral code, the aesthetic, the scope of the magic he was creating. And when people looked at his early efforts and saw only debts and risks, he saw the final finished product. His vision was the magnet, drawing the necessary people, the necessary capital, the necessary ideas into his orbit. You must do the same. Take your grand purpose, your defining desire, and break it down into an actionable, tangible image. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Where are you standing? Who is standing with you? This clarity is a shield against the most insidious enemy of all, indecision. Indecision is the silent assassin of potential. It is the pause that allows doubt to seep in. It is the refusal to commit to a path, born from the fear of making a wrong choice. But the great truth is that any focused, resolute decision is infinitely superior to the paralyzed state of non-action. The universe rewards speed and clarity of commitment. Every day you spend agonizing over the first step is a day spent standing still, while the world of opportunity rushes past you. You must cultivate the quality of decisiveness, a core trait of every leader who has ever bent reality to their will. Once you have defined your purpose, once you have created your crystal clear vision, you must execute the first step immediately, without seeking validation, without waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is a mythological creature. It does not exist. The only moment that matters is this moment. The immediate commitment to action is the physical translation of your inner belief. It signals to your own subconscious that the time for debate is over. We are moving, and as you take that action, your focus naturally sharpens onto the purpose. A clear, compelling purpose does more than motivate. It eliminates distraction. It acts as an internal GPS, rerouting you instantly whenever a lesser priority attempts to derail your trajectory. The average mind is cluttered with the noise of the day, the opinions of critics, the trivial demands of others. The master mind is a cathedral of silence, broken only by the clear, rhythmic drumbeat of its dominant purpose. This focus allows for the accumulation of energy, not its diffusion. It is the principle of the burning glass, where scattered sunlight is concentrated into a single white-hot point of intensity, capable of igniting change. Your life force, your mental energy, your hours are finite. When they are aimed at 10 different targets, they hit none with force. When they are aimed at one target, your major definite purpose, they become an unstoppable kinetic force. This requires not just passion, but the cold, rational application of discipline. The immersion deepens, smoothly transitioning into the operational themes of purpose, discipline, and the foundational power of the inner resilience required to harness them. Discipline is the bridge between your grand, beautiful vision and its tangible execution. It is the quality that separates the motivated dreamer from the relentless producer. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the ultimate expression of self-respect. It is the daily act of choosing what your future self wants over what your immediate self craves. It is rising before the world stirs, committing to the necessary, often tedious work when no one is watching, when there is no applause and no immediate reward. It is the unwavering consistency that transforms small, isolated efforts into an immense compounding advantage. The world remembers Henry Ford not for the idea of the car, but for the disciplined system he put in place to produce it consistently and affordably. He mastered the repetitive, deliberate rhythm of the assembly line. That rhythm is the physical manifestation of discipline. Your own assembly line is the set of non-negotiable daily habits you institute to serve your purpose. What is the single most important, non-negotiable action you must take today that moves you measurably closer to your goal? That action must be executed first flawlessly every day. It is the cornerstone. To sustain this discipline, you must constantly reinforce your inner resilience. This is the capacity to absorb disappointment without dissolving the core of your resolve. You will face resistance. That is guaranteed. It will come from the outside, the critics, the skeptics, the market forces. But the most dangerous resistance comes from within, that small nagging voice of self-doubt, the urge to return to the comfort of mediocrity, the seductive pull of distraction. This is the moment where the philosophy of Napoleon Hill moves from a concept into a visceral life or death battle. This internal conflict is the crucible of transformation. You must actively train yourself to interpret setbacks not as personal condemnations, but as necessary data. Every obstacle, every rejection, every apparent failure contains within it a seed of equivalent advantage, provided you are willing to search for it. Provided you refuse to halt the process. Failure is simply the universe's way of saying, not that way. Try this way. It is a correction, not a conclusion. Abraham Lincoln's early career was a chronicle of crushing defeats, business failures, electoral losses, deep personal tragedies. If he had allowed the simple record of his past to define the limit of his future, the world would have been deprived of a transformative leader. His resilience was his master key. He simply refused to accept the finality of the setback. He absorbed the lesson, maintained the definiteness of purpose, the preservation of the Union, and adapted the execution. This is the power of adaptability, married to persistence. Persistence without adaptability is merely stubbornness, the refusal to change a broken strategy. True persistence is the unyielding commitment to the goal, combined with the fluid intelligence to constantly change the method until the result is achieved. It is the mind's ability to remain calm and analytical in the face of emotional storm. You must learn to view challenge, not as a sign to stop, but as a confirmation that you are operating at the edge of your current limitations, which is precisely where all growth occurs. The edge of your comfort zone is the only place where true wealth, of character, of spirit, and of finance can be mined. A mind focused only on the lack, on what has not yet been achieved, on the scarcity of resources, operates from a place of fear and desperation. This vibration repels the very resources and opportunities you are attempting to attract. A mind saturated in gratitude for what is, for the health, the lessons learned, the current capacity, the people in your life, operates from a place of abundance and strength. Gratitude shifts the focus from the obstacle to the opportunity, from the problem to the solution. It is the emotional and spiritual lubricant that keeps the engine of your persistence from overheating. When you can genuinely appreciate the struggle, when you can be thankful for the lesson embedded in the defeat, you gain an unstoppable buoyancy. You rise faster and lighter than the person whose mind is weighted down by resentment and self-pity. This is the invisible advantage that underpins the outward success of all genuine giants. They understood that the universe is not a transactional machine, but a responsive organism that amplifies the vibration you put out. This sustained inner work, the disciplined thought, the clear vision, the relentless action, the grateful heart leads inevitably to personal transformation. You are no longer the person who started this journey. The person who began seeking success has been replaced by the person who has become successful. The difference is profound. Success is a destination. Becoming successful is an identity change. You stop chasing the external proof and simply embody the mastery. This transformation is the true purpose of the journey. The wealth, the influence, the recognition, these are merely the external artifacts of the profound internal shift you have undergone. They are the secondary effects. Wealth and success are not things to be chased. They are results to be attracted. They are the natural consequence of applying these immutable principles. Definiteness of purpose, a mastermind alliance of complementary thinkers, applied faith, persistence, and controlled thought. The pursuit of material wealth, when divorced from inner mastery, is a hollow, exhausting exercise. The pursuit of inner mastery, the complete, unapologetic control of your own mental factory, makes the acquisition of wealth a predictable, inevitable outcome. It becomes less about how to get money and more about how to manage the flow that your elevated frequency naturally attracts. Your success is therefore not merely a personal victory. It is a moral obligation. When you elevate your own life, when you achieve your highest potential, you raise the standard of possibility for everyone around you. Your light does not dim the light of others. It gives them permission to shine. Your transformation is a blueprint for others to follow. The mastery of your mind is the ultimate power, the ultimate freedom, the ultimate form of contribution. It is the final, undeniable truth revealed by all who have ever transcended the limits of the ordinary. The gold you seek is not in the ground. It is in the refined, disciplined, unwavering focus of your own consciousness. Now you stand at the precipice of this new identity. The decision is no longer about if you will start, but how long you will remain on the path. Will you be the one who whispers a wish, or the one who roars a command? The world awaits the answer, an answer that resides not in the stars, but in the next immediate action you take. And this immediate action, this first step taken in the direction of your major definite purpose, must be magnified and sustained, not in isolation, but in communion. No single human being has ever achieved monumental, world-changing success entirely alone. The myth of the solitary genius is a dangerous distraction. The truth is found in the principle of the mastermind alliance, the organized coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people, working toward a definite purpose, in a spirit of complete harmony. This alliance is not merely a group of friends or casual advisors. It is a carefully selected, ruthlessly focused circle of individuals whose varied perspectives, specialized skills, and relentless drive compound the force of your own efforts. Think of the dynamic between Henry Ford, the industrialist, and Harvey Firestone, the tire pioneer, or the symbiotic relationship between Andrew Carnegie and the dozens of fiercely capable partners he cultivated. These alliances were not based on sentiment. They were founded on the clear mutual recognition of a definite advantage that could not be achieved separately. Your own mind, functioning alone, is powerful, but when it is synchronized with two or three other focused, vibrating minds, the resultant force, the third, invisible energy, is exponentially greater. This is the metaphysical advantage. The sum of the whole becomes greater than the calculation of the parts. Your task is to identify those individuals whose expertise fills the gaps in your own knowledge, and whose belief in your purpose is as fierce as your own. You must approach this alliance with the spirit of giving, not taking. You must define what you are bringing to the table, your specific skill, your unwavering loyalty, your sheer force of will, before you ever consider what you hope to gain.
Okay.
The spirit of perfect harmony is non-negotiable. Discord, jealousy, or hidden motives will instantly disintegrate this powerful force. The mastermind is a spiritual engine, and it operates only on the fuel of absolute trust and shared purpose. As you coordinate this collective effort, you are simultaneously coordinating the most powerful, yet often neglected, tool at your disposal, your subconscious mind. This is the silent partner in all great achievements, the workshop where ideas are organized, clarified, and brought to fruition. Your subconscious mind does not debate. It simply executes the instructions that your conscious mind delivers to it with emotional intensity and repetition. It is the soil of your soul, and your thoughts are the seeds. If you consciously feed it fear, doubt, and limitations, it will dutifully produce the harvest of failure. If you feed it the clear, emotional, detailed blueprint of your major definite purpose, reinforced daily with faith, it will work tirelessly, even while you sleep, to organize the universe to deliver the necessary resources, people, and serendipitous moments. The process of harnessing the subconscious requires two primary techniques. First, autosuggestion, the deliberate act of repeating your purpose, felt intensely, until it sinks beneath the surface of conscious thought and becomes an embedded command. Second, the disciplined practice of quiet reflection, the intentional silence that allows the subconscious to deliver the hunch, the intuition, the flash of inspiration that solves the most complex problems. This is the source of true creative imagination. The answers are rarely found in the frantic activity of the day. They emerge from the stillness, after the subconscious has worked its silent magic. This combination of the outer mastermind alliance and the inner command of the subconscious creates a velocity that few can resist. But velocity alone is not enough. It must be sustained by the relentless, unyielding force of persistence. The script continues, building the case for persistence as the ultimate test of faith, and transitioning into the final, defining themes of inner resilience and the new identity. Persistence is the acid test of your definiteness of purpose. It is the point where the vast majority of people who started with hope, enthusiasm, and even talent fall away. They confuse temporary defeat with permanent failure. The world is saturated with brilliant people who gave up 3 feet from the gold. They failed not because they lacked the intelligence or the resources, but because they lacked the moral fiber to endure the necessary refining fire of the struggle. Look again at the stories of the giants. Abraham Lincoln faced repeated, humiliating losses, both political and personal. Yet he persisted, finding his purpose anchored in the moral necessity of unity. Walt Disney was fired from an early job for lacking imagination, yet he persisted, driven by an inner vision that others could not yet comprehend. Their persistence was not a blind, foolish stubbornness. It was a conscious, unwavering refusal to modify the goal simply because the initial method failed. You must therefore cultivate an emotional callus against quitting. When the moment comes, and it will come, when the entire world seems to be arrayed against you, when the discouragement is so profound that the thought of surrender is the only thing that offers temporary relief, that is the moment to remember your mastermind, to reiterate your definite purpose, and to activate the faith that you have already installed in your subconscious mind. Persistence is not just about keeping your feet moving, it is about keeping your attitude moving forward. It is the disciplined control of your emotional reaction to adversity. The moment you allow external circumstances to dictate your inner emotional state, you have handed over the keys to your internal kingdom. The master retains sovereignty over self at all times. He understands that the external event, the loss, the rejection, the temporary setback is neutral. It is the interpretation, the emotional spin you put on it, that determines its power over you. This leads us directly back to inner resilience, the foundation that makes persistence possible. True resilience is not merely bouncing back. It is the capacity to grow stronger through the trauma. Every challenge is a weight lifted in the mental gym. It is designed by the universe to expand your capacity, to forge a character capable of handling the magnitude of the success you are attracting. You must embrace the concept of continuous self-improvement, not as a chore, but as an essential daily ritual. You must constantly audit your own knowledge, seeking to replace what you think you know with what you know is effective. This means dedicating time, every single day, to study, to reflection, to the acquisition of specialized knowledge relevant to your definite purpose. General knowledge is useful, but specialized knowledge, organized and applied through a definite plan, is the source of all great fortunes and achievements. The final stage of this transformational process is the complete adoption of your new identity. The old self, the one defined by fear, limited by past failures, and paralyzed by indecision, must be consciously and irrevocably shed. You are no longer someone trying to be successful. You are the agent of success. Your actions are no longer tentative experiments. They are the inevitable execution of a predetermined, divinely inspired plan. Underscore, 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 underscore. The final phase of the script begins now, culminating in the climactic, emotionally resonant conclusion, tying together all the principles of inner mastery and wealth creation. The attainment of wealth, in all its forms, financial, spiritual, relational, is simply the scoreboard of this inner mastery. It is the measurement of how effectively you have applied the principles of thought transmutation. It proves that you have succeeded in turning intangible thought energy into its tangible equivalent. The financial wealth that you seek will be proportional to the clarity of your definite purpose, the harmony of your mastermind alliance, the intensity of your persistence, and the unwavering faith you have projected into your subconscious mind. This wealth carries with it an immense responsibility. You are not gathering resources for the sole purpose of self-indulgence. You are accumulating the necessary leverage to execute your moral obligation, to use your genius and your influence to solve significant problems, to create employment, to elevate the lives of those around you, and to contribute genuinely to the betterment of the world. Great fortunes are always built on the foundation of service. Your purpose must, therefore, serve a greater good. Your personal ambition must be a subset of a broader beneficial societal impact. Andrew Carnegie's ambition was to create steel efficiently, but the ultimate result was the infrastructure of modern America and a philanthropic legacy that transformed education and libraries. His personal purpose was inherently linked to mass benefit. This linkage, the harmonious alignment of self-interest with the interest of others, is the ultimate formula for sustainable monumental success. You must live every day in the full awareness of this power. Your every thought, every word, every action is a command being issued to the universe, organizing resources, attracting opportunities, and manifesting your destiny. The power of thought is the most potent energy force known to humanity, and the responsibility for its direction rests squarely, entirely, upon your shoulders. Today, let this be the moment of absolute, unquestionable commitment. Let the vague hopes of the past become the definite commands of the present. See the vision not as a wish, but as a photograph of your inevitable future. Feel the financial reality, the emotional resonance, and the spiritual fulfillment of your ultimate purpose now. Close your eyes and feel the weight of your past failures lift away. They are lessons paid for, the tuition for your current mastery. Let the opinions of the skeptics become the white noise that fuels your silent resolve. There is no more waiting. There is no more pausing. There is only the persistent action born of absolute conviction. Master your mind. Take command of the sovereign territory of your consciousness, for it is from that center, that single, inviolable point of thought, that you will inevitably, purposefully, and powerfully master your life. Step into the identity of the person you were always meant to be.